can't tell by this game here, it was a very, very long game. We each had well over 20 best moves, one great move apiece. I had more excellent moves, he had more good moves. Surprisingly, none of us had any book moves, even though my basic opener is a book move. The same number of inaccuracies. My little brother had one more mistake. I had double his misses, and I have 100 times more his blunders. And here I am, back at my 900 game score while being a 300 Elo chess player. Oh, so wonderful. This was his first game on chess.com. So at the time, he was a 1200 Elo. But then, I basically tanked his Elo. He faced me and had his Elo slashed in half, and I love that. Why are we all the way over here? Let's start at the beginning.
Very good choice.
What?
F3 is arguably the worst first move that can be made, as it weakens the king and takes away the best square for the knight on g1.
Yeah, I don't have a singular idea on why he did that.
d5 takes space in the center, controls the e4 and c4 squares, and allows the queen and light-squared bishop to develop.
Hold on, game. That's usually a book move. Oh, what's so bad about it this time? Me potentially opening up for the queen's gambit, or the backline bishop snipe. Like, what? And then the next thing my little brother does, for some reason, is fucking pawn a4. I was so baffled when he did that, it actually almost gave me a stonk. If any of you wonder what a stonk is, it's my way of saying stroke, so it doesn't actually happen.
They slipped up a bit here. Not the worst move, but definitely not the best.
That move definitely made me question my little brother's intelligence, I'll tell you that much, because I don't really see any form of benefit that pawn a4 has. Like, honestly, I'd rather you do pawn h4 at that point.
You missed a better way to prepare a bishop for development.
Shut the fuck up. Normally you love this opening, chess.com. What the fuck happened to you? Like, come on, chess.com. You usually love my dark squared bishop snipes. What is wrong with you?
This move allows you to capture their vulnerable rook.
Oh, and I sniped that rook up with the quickness, because I am not gonna lie. He hung the rook, pulling a Gotham chess, so I'm just like, you know what? Mine.
Nice vision spotting and capturing that vulnerable rook. Takes back.
And then he's got 2 pawns on the a4 lane. I'm just like, oof. Your poor pawn structure. Like, I don't know what kind of crack chess.com is smoking today. It normally loves my pawn wall into the bishop snipe, but not today, I guess.
It's critical to develop your pieces as early as possible in the game.
Yet another excellent move on my part, even though I'm a 287 Elo chess player, who at the time was facing a 1200 Elo chess player. It's interesting. What does he do next? I don't remember.
This move drives
yes.
your checking queen away with a pawn.
He does that.
Nice. Definitely the right move.
And then I just decided to pin that pawn to his queen after a nice little think.
They overlooked an opportunity to develop a piece while also winning a tempo on a queen. You are now able to trade down material.
Because, like, I ain't gonna lie. I wanted that queen, right? See, he decided to initiate the queen trade, so I decided I'll be the first one to kill your bride because I want your castling rights, and I want them now. Give me your castling rights. I already sniped up one of your rooks. I'll just go ahead and kill your queen and make you kill my queen with your king. and take your castling rights from you by force. It was so worth it. An early game queen sacrifice is one of my favorite things to do because it then truly becomes a test of skill on who's the better chess player and not who has the more powerful pieces.
That was an even swap of material.
It was.
Recaptures.
Recaptures.
Developing the knight and increasing influence in the center.
Yep. And then I combo my pawn wall backline bishop snipe opening into the two knights opening.
Your opponent develops their bishop off its starting square. Castling kingside tends to be safer because your king is further from the center. They played the strongest move available.
How is that the strongest move available? Let's go back.
Castling kingside tends to be safer because your king is further from the center.
That wasn't the strongest move available. That was the best and only move available.
They played the strongest move available. You are bringing your knight into play, eyeing the central squares.
Yeah, I want all the squares. Give me all the squares. I want, is there a way I can draw on this? Nah, I can't draw on it. But you can pretty easily see the squares I'm eyeing. It's a light squared knight. E5, D4, B4, and A5. All those squares I'm looking to control with my knight. Same with my dark squared knight across the way from it.
Their knight comes into play, attacking the center. Well done, an excellent move.
I guess moving my rook to the almost open file would have been a better move than... Well, if it's excellent, that means either way it would have been an excellent move.
Decent move, but they had a better one. This is a fine move.
I mean, it wouldn't have really been in my best interest to put that knight right there. I don't really see what the game was wanting me to do. Was it want me to stop that? Because this pawn is more than enough to stop it with. I don't really see the big dealio of me moving my knight away from all those squares it controls. Like I told you earlier, my light squared knight controls E5, D4, B4, and also A5. If I move my knight to A5, I go from controlling all those squares I just listed with the one piece to only C4 and B3. Why chess.com quit smoking crack and suggesting terrible moves. This bot is terrible, I swear to God.
That's not a mistake, but they did not find the best move here.
I don't see how moving a pawn one square forward as opposed to threatening my king with a knight. Well, actually, I think I might have seen the attack he was going for, right? Because what I think my little brother wanted to do was pull a trick from my book, sacrifice the knight, get me to attack with the bishop and get that thing out of there, and then he swoop in with his bishop and snipe me up in return. But I don't believe that happened because I think I did something that made him have to back off.
You offered your opponent an opportunity to exchange pieces of equal value.
Yeah, that's what I did. I deflected his knight with a knight bait of my own into a pawn trap. That's what I did.
They kick your knight with a pawn, forcing it to move or be captured.
And then instead what I do, forky, fork, fork.
You will win a rook with a fork.
That, chess.com, is a fork. Not that bullshit where you tried to say a knight attacking one piece is a fork. Because that's not how a fork works. A fork is when you have a knight that has two pieces in trouble and usually checks the king and forces your opponent to choose one or the other.
They move their king out of the check from your knight. You captured that free rook.
Free, that spells free. Free is what you are to the rest of the lobby.
That's playable.
I actually really like that move he did right there.
This wins a knight. They move the bishop to safety. This is the way to win a knight. This move pins your pawn, adding pressure to your position.
What? How does that pin anything? Okay, let's pretend we know what chess.com's bot is talking about here for a second, right? I believe it thinks it's pinning the pawn on c5. But if you look at the board and you don't smoke crack all day like chess.com bot does, right? You'll see a beautiful thing called a double defended pawn. See, this pawn goes right here. Well, if he attacks that pawn goes right there and takes it. If he attacks the pawn on e6 with the knight, the pawn on f7 defends e6. And then there's also a rook backing my c5 pawn. And then there's also a king, which is just a over-promoted pawn that is guarding my pawns on h7 and f7. So, chess.com, nothing is pinned. Nothing is adding pressure to my position. Look at the position rating on the left side of the screen, people who may be watching at home. I am trouncing my little brother right now, and chess.com, you're smoking crack yet again.
Your opponent's knight is trapped.
Oh, indeed, it is trapped so beautifully. It has absolutely only like one place to go if it doesn't want to die, or it can kill something on the way out at the very least.
Decent move, but they had a better one.
What was the best move?
Moving the bishop gives white more flexibility in the middle game.
Listen, I'm all for sacrificing a knight, right? But if you're gonna sacrifice a knight, chess.com, do it in a way that gains you an advantage. Don't just throw a knight to be eaten by a pawn. That is genuinely the dumbest, best move I've seen you ever do, chess.com. Like, my goodness, I don't even think I'll be able to finish this game without getting super pissed off at you.
You won a knight for free.
I definitely want a knight for free.
They develop a new piece.
I don't really know if you can call that development. There's only two ways it can move. It's not like my knight that is currently on c6, which eats up so many squares. You know? Like, my goodness.
You've just allowed your knight to be taken without a fight.
Yes, I did. I 1000% did. This was actually a very big mistake on my part. And I believe I get punished for it. Yep.
They took your knight for free.
Because I messed up entirely.
Good job. That's what I would have played too. Takes back. You activate your rook by moving it from the start. Good job.
Okay, so I believe
they took your knight
I
for
did
free.
that, why I moved...
You've just allowed your knight to be taken without a fight.
Pawn to d4 was because I think I was trying to get some of these pawns off of this king so I could manage to get into the back line and get that bishop out of the way, right? Normally, whenever I throw a knight bait down, I have a plan. This was an accidental knight bait that actually helped me out in the long run.
They took your knight for free. Good job. That's what I would have played too.
And then, due to the king being in check, the king has to move or capture, so I'm preventing the loss of a rook for the loss of a pawn, something I rather enjoy doing.
Takes back. You activate your rook by moving it from the starting square.
Well, first of all, I wanted to get my rook to safety before I thought about trying to get that bishop out of here. And that is why I moved my rook first, because if I move my bishop first, either way, I don't lose a rook from not moving the bishop first.
That's not a mistake, but they did not find the best move here. Very good choice. They bring their final piece into the game, fully mobilizing their position.
I mean, when you only have 5 pawns, 2 bishops, and a knight, versus someone who's got 2 rooks, a knight, and a bishop, you don't really have much of a position left anymore.
You have to use your king in the endgame.
Yep, and I got him out of the way just to make sure he wouldn't get boxed in easily.
You are going to lose your pawn to this fork.
Yeah, I did lose. I believe I did lose a pawn after this. Or did I? I don't remember.
You kick the opposing knight with a pawn, forcing it away.
Oh yeah, that's what I did.
They took your pawn for free. Well done, an excellent move. This move puts their bishop on a safer square. Oops, you gave up a rook. Capturing your hanging rook.
Yeah, I completely pulled a Gotham chess and accidentally sacrificed the rook. This was not my best game. I don't know entirely how I got a 900 game rating, but it was a fun game nonetheless.
You missed an opportunity to offer an equal trade of pieces.
No. The last thing I need in this position is to be trading equally.
You are now able to win a bishop by pinning a piece to the king. They had an opportunity to punish your inaccurate play, but didn't catch it. You missed an opportunity to offer an equal trade of... You are now able to win a bishop by pinning a piece to the king. This moves the bishop to a better location, allowing it to control more squares. You missed an opportunity to offer an equal trade, capturing your hanging rook. You missed an opportunity to offer... You are now able to win a bishop by pinning a piece to the king. They had an opportunity to... You missed an opportunity to win a bishop by pinning a piece to the king.
I still don't see how at any point in time I could have quote-unquote pinned a piece to the king.
Your opponent's move wins your pawn. You missed an opportunity.
Oh,
you are now
I
able to
see
win a
now.
bishop.
I'm dumb.
Your opponent's... You overlooked an opportunity to take an open file with a rook.
Well, it already has an open file taken. And all of that would have done was just put the king in check he could have easily moved out of.
They missed a chance to increase a bishop's scope by moving it to a better square. This move is okay, but not what I would have played.
What would you have played, chess.com?
This creates a pawn chain, linked pawns that form a strong structure.
No.
Their king steps away from the check by your knight. Your knight is undefended, so this move loses material.
Yes, but what it did, though, it got that frickin' bishop off of h6. I did not like that. I will sacrifice a knight in a heartbeat if it means getting a bishop off of a diagonal.
Capturing your hanging knight.
Good.
That pawn chain will help strengthen your pawn structure. Capturing your hanging pawn. This is a fine move. Their passed pawn moves closer to promotion, becoming more dangerous.
Like I was scared. I had a rook protecting that. I just needed to figure out a way to get that damn knight off of there. You know?
Very good choice. Recaptures. You had a better option, but this is not bad.
What was the quote-unquote better option? Chess.com. How is that the best option? Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? If he continues to move that down, and I take that freaking pawn the moment it gets to a6, that is a loss of a bishop for a knight. That is sacrificing. That is not even sacrificing a bishop for a knight. That's sacrificing a bishop for a fucking pawn. You absolute buffoon of a chessbot. Mittens is smarter than you. My goodness.
Pushing their passed pawn.
Yeah, because I'm not scared, because the knight will be faced with a choice. Protect the bishop, or protect the pawn, or kill the bishop. If it kills the bishop, it cannot protect the pawn, and then I can kill the pawn with my rook, which is the reason why I kept it on this back line.
You're losing a bishop with that move, but your position was losing no matter what.
I don't care. I wanted that away because I was wondering if it was potentially going to be a queen. When you look at it, I need something down here because it's going to be protected by that bishop on g2, the knight on c7, and yeah, that pawn will be very protected very soon.
They overlooked an opportunity to win your bishop, though their position remains strong.
You know, this position is super strong because of all the protection it has on that singular pawn. That singular pawn is the make or break of what happens here.
You defended your bishop by pinning the attacking piece.
And now that piece cannot move whatsoever.
They overlooked an opportunity to tactically win a bishop. This is the way to win a bishop.
Oh, that move would have been evil.
Well done, an excellent move. They are right on target. Giving away your bishop is a mistake, but your position was losing anyway.
I really don't care. If that knight takes care of that bishop, I can take care of that rook. And then also have to worry about his bishop. But I have a bishop, so it's okay.
They took your bishop for free. Yes, this is the way. Takes back. Your opponent will have to keep an eye on that passed pawn. That's playable. That pawn chain will help strengthen your pawn structure. Their bishop is now more active on this square.
I actually did something really funny. So apparently with 3 pawns and an L shape, you can actually beat 2 backed up bishops.
Nice. Definitely the right move. Precise move from your opponent. This move wins a knight. This move puts their knight on a safer square. You kick the opposing bishop with a pawn, forcing it away. I like their choice.
That was a very good move.
This wins a bishop. They played the strongest move available. You captured that free bishop. Decent move, but they had a better one. The passed pawn moves towards its goal.
Ah, I see. That would have been a very good move if it had worked, but it didn't.
You overlooked a better way to tactically win a knight. This wins a knight.
I'm gonna... Oh, okay, calm down. Calm down. Really? Really, game? That tactically wins a knight? To me, that looks like a +2 trade in his frickin' favor. because you're smoking crack yet again.
This move flipped your opponent's winning advantage into a losing position.
I really don't see how, but okay.
You missed an opportunity to promote a pawn to a queen.
Oh, shut up. It's not like I could have done that earlier, because, there was a bishop waiting on that black diagonal to snipe whatever I promoted to a queen, but at the same time, I've got to stop this frickin' pawn.
There was just one move that worked for them, and this wasn't it. Great use of your piece to blockade the pawn. Their bishop is now on a more active square. This is the way to win a bishop. That's quite an error. Now's your chance to capitalize on it. Your passed pawn advances to its goal. They are right on target. Good thinking. This move puts your piece into a stronger, more active position. That's not a mistake, but they did not find the best move here. Your pawn now promotes to queen.
And now I'm up 2 queens. Then, around this time of the game, we each had about a minute left, so it was kind of speed chess from here on.
Their passed pawn moves closer to promotion, becoming more... You continue the checkmate attack. They move their king out of the check from your queen. You could have ended the game sooner, but the win is still in your hands.
Oh no, I'd do it, but it's funnier.
They played one of the best moves here. You continue the checkmate attack. This move wins a bishop. Their king steps away from the check by your queen. You're continuing down the road to checkmate. They move their king out of the check from your queen. You missed an opportunity to checkmate the king.
No, I knew it was there. I just wanted to make a battery.
Their king steps away from the check by your queen.
Plus, I literally walked the king into a corner before I checkmate him.
You're still on the road to checkmate. They made one of the top moves in this position, getting closer to the forced checkmate. They move their king out of the check from your queen. You continue the checkmate attack. Their king steps away from the check by your queen.
And now that the king is forced into the corner...
You overlooked an opportunity to checkmate the king. I like their choice. You missed an opportunity to checkmate the king.
No, it's gonna happen. I just wanted to be disrespectful about it.
Moving their bishop to a better position. Always feels nice to win.
And that, my friends,
moving their
is
bishop
the
always feels nice to win.
Game between me and my little brother that took me 27 minutes to review, and I swear most of it was just me calling the chess.com bot a crack smoker. Anyways, y'all, it's your boy King D-trix saying that I kicked the ever-living dog shit out of my little brother in chess, even though it actually was a really close game. He had me sweating a good bit. He said he hadn't played in a while, so once he's back in the groove of things, I really can't wait to play him, especially when he stops doing retarded opening moves. Yeah, you heard me, little brother. That was dumb, your opening moves. But I still love you, even though you're kind of dumb at chess and you lost to someone who's 287 Elo. Anyways, have a good day. Love y'all, and good night. Bye.